Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, we are once again on all our platforms. Fox Sports Radio, iHeartRadio, FS1, Sirius XM, Channel 83, also all over Twitter and our social media platforms. 1 hour from now, my wife told me all week, I'll listen to your show only when Mark Cuban comes on. He'll be on in 1 hour from now. Philanthropist, business icon, outspoken owner of the Dallas Mavericks, and a smart guy, billionaire Mark Cuban joining us. And Joy Taylor is joining me. How are you this morning, Joy?
I'm great. How you doing, Con?
I am doing well. I want to start with this. People now are talking and making claims that, we're not going to have the NFL season or college football season, and I don't know. I've got my hunches on things. I do think the economy is going to start back up in May. I don't know what we do. I think Vegas is going to kick things off in April. Not sure how it ends up. Maybe they'll be the national guinea pig on that, but I think casinos are going to open up. Whether or not anybody's in them, I think they're going to open up first, the first big city to reopen. And that'll be a few weeks from now. But LeBron James yesterday talking about the NBA season, which I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm crossing my fingers. I think they have to be very, very open-minded on playing with no fans. And LeBron James says, I can't get my arms around that idea.
Having a game without fans is just, what is sport? What is the worst sport without fans? There's no excitement. There's no crying. There's no joy. There's no back and forth. There's no rhyme or reason that you want to go on a road and just dethrone the home team because of their fans and vice versa. Like, that's what also brings up the competitive side of the players, to know that you're going on the road in a hostile environment. And yes, you're playing against that opponent in front of you, but you really want to kick the fans too.
Remember, we're not asking NBA players to play without fans forever or an entire season. This is temporary. Right now, I'm doing a television show by myself in a studio, a radio studio. I've eaten at Panera Bread for breakfast 9 straight mornings. I've run out of clothes. If you turn on FS1 right now, it looks like I'm an advertisement for farmers.com. I've got no shirts left. By next Tuesday, I could be doing this in my underwear. It's temporary. My wife is in Utah with some kids. I'm at home. I am sitting in a studio. This is hopefully not what it's like next year at this time. It is simply temporary. This is the world we all live in. You have to ask yourself, do you want an NBA season? Then you better get ready to play without fans. You can practice. Adam Silver can absolutely test every single player, staff member, official, and executive for coronavirus. And if everybody tests negative, you can work out, you can practice, and these are also the youngest, best-conditioned athletes in the world, along with international soccer players. So most would be asymptomatic, and frankly, they have very, very, very low risk. For some reason, I don't know why, this virus is far more punitive to people in poor health older than young health. And just age-wise, it's tougher on people over 50 than under 50. That's where the death rate spikes. But if you want an NBA season, do you really believe we're, 6-7 weeks out from 20,000 people jammed up next to each other in NBA arenas? The NBA players are going to have to come to terms with this. Either you're willing to play with no fans or there's no season, or, and I've thought about this, modify the fans where you let 1/4 of the arena in and you have to be 2 or 3 seats apart. Sounds weird? Guess what? Everything now is weird. You've got to be willing to roll with this stuff. Charles Barkley, though, said it yesterday as well. The NBA, style points matter. I mean, let's be honest. If there's a great one-on-one game at the YMCA, people walk by and they stop and they want to watch it. It's different. Basketball, as Barkley said, is truly different.
I think it's impossible to play without fans. One of the reasons the game is great, if you want to showcase your talent, the crowd has a huge effect upon the game. I know there was times I was tired, and the crowd's going nuts, and I'm just like, I get energy from anywhere. There's nothing better than sticking it to a fan who's sitting right behind the bench, who's harassing you the whole game. But when somebody's giving you a hard time, that motivates you.
I agree. But you're going to have to be self-motivated this point forward, perhaps for the entire playoff season. We're not going to have 20,000 fans in 5 weeks in arena. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. The CDC is currently saying no more than 10 people in any group. In my town, we can't even now walk on a wood chip trail. First it was no walking more than 4 people. Then it was 2 people. Then it's only family members. Yesterday, I couldn't get on it. We are not 5 and 6 weeks away from 20,000 people elbow to elbow in an NBA arena. Let me move to this. The NFL draft is going forward, as it should. Roger Goodell, the commissioner, sent a memo out warning against public comments from people in the NFL. The NFL draft, the NFL and the NBA have really different sensibilities. The NBA, we watch the highlights more than the games. It's got a younger fan base. Younger people are on Twitter. It's very beholden to, it's a little more socially conscious. It perceives itself as that. A little more political as a league. And it's also hyper popular on Twitter. The NFL's got an older fan base. Only 22% of Americans are even on Twitter. I would say it's much more NBA fans and soccer fans than baseball and NFL guy. The NFL simply doesn't care about Twitter as much. They're not beholden to it. I'll give you an example. In my life, I make money from a network, cable, radio, podcasting. I don't care about Instagram. I don't make any money off it. So that's what I'm beholden to. I'm beholden to Fox Sports Radio, FS1, iHeart, my podcast. That's where I make the money. The NFL has figured something out about Twitter. Twitter turns its back on everybody. You know who never turns its back on the NFL? Fox, CBS, NBC. That's who they're loyal to. And those people want to draft. NBA, they start too soon. They lost $500 million on a tweet from an NBA GM. They got all freaked out. NFL doesn't care as much. If the NFL cared about Twitter, Colin Kaepernick would be in the league. They don't, because Twitter doesn't pay him anything. The NFL takes care of its TV networks, and the TV networks never turn their back on the NFL. Twitter turns its back on everybody, and that's very closely aligned with the NBA. So what I worry about with the NBA is, oh boy, if you start too soon, it spikes corona in arenas. Oh my Lord, people go crazy on social media. I think the NBA could be punitively damaged their reputation by that. NFL is going to hold a draft. Ask yourself this. Does everybody here want to watch another show about a guy who collects tigers? Or do you want to see Tua get drafted by the Miami Dolphins? What do you want to watch? Because that's what the NFL cares about. The NFL got lucky with this. The combine had already taken place. We had an awesome Super Bowl. But free agency, the NFL schedule's coming out, by the way, in 2 weeks, April 17th. I'll spend 4 days on that. And the NFL draft is mostly phone calls and paperwork. And they are not beholden to social media. They don't give a rip. If they did, Kaepernick's in this league, and Cam's getting a job tomorrow with a team. They don't care. They care about their TV partners. That's who pay them. That's who pays them. And they want a draft. And they're going to get a draft. And I think the draft is absolutely what we need. Any sports that we can do with social distancing are very valuable. Free agency period. It got a lot of pushback. This is wrong, NFL. You are forgetting. And they did it, and it was unbelievable. How much fun was free agency? It was a blast. The Brady Buccaneer thing was unbelievable. And we were all okay. If you can do sports without creating a virus, you can't worry about optics. The NFL doesn't. It's one of the things I really like about him. I'm going to ask Mark Cuban about that in 1 hour. This is a league, NBA, which has been very, very political and socially conscious and sometimes Twitter connected. And if they push back in a season and they get in there too early and you have a spike in coronaviruses in cities having NBA games, how does that play for the league? Are you concerned about the backlash for that? All leagues have different sensibilities. NFL and the NBA are two totally separate businesses. The NFL is domestic. It worries about its domestic TV partners. The NBA is much more global and international. All right, coming up, well, it looks like it's going to happen. The contract discussion that's gone on forever appears to be getting close to being done. Talking Cowboys and Dak next. Over 50 years ago, two men with passion for motorsports and engineering started building race car engines in an old abandoned mill. Opportunity on every curve and every wide open road. But it wasn't just a chance to push the envelope and break the rules. It was a chance to prove that a 2-ton family sedan with a race car engine could compete in 24-hour track races. And they did. They stunned the elite in the racing world by winning time and time again. We may never truly understand what drives Mercedes-AMG to break barriers, along with every record in the book. But here's to allowing us, certainly, to enjoy the results. Learn more at mbusa.com/AMG. Mercedes-AMG. Driving performance.